Planning another project?
Not exactly.
Well, that looks like an awful lot of bones.
That's because it is, Reg.
So what's the plan?
Today I'm going to show you how to use inexpensive plastic Halloween props to create your very own lightweight, durable foam bones that you can create over and over again without spending a fortune.
I like that plan. Mostly because none of them are mine.
So let's get started. All right, what's happening, everyone? So in today's video, I find myself in need of a pile of bones. And this is a technique that I've used for a long time, but I never really made a dedicated video explaining the process. So today I'm going to show you guys how you can make an unlimited amount of bones. So what you're going to need for today's project is really simple. I've done this on a smaller scale, and let me show you really quick. Now, if you guys have been following me for a long time, you might have seen my cement clay recipe video where I showed you how to cast your own skulls out of foam using a Dollar Tree skull like this. Now, this is great. I love doing these, and this is the result you get out of them. Cool little foam skull. You can do a lot of sculpture or practice. You can do shrunken heads, your small characters, gremlins, all that good stuff with this size. But I found myself needing a lot more styrofoam heads because, as you guys know, if you followed me for a long time, I like to go ahead and cast the head in foam and then carve it down to the shapes I need and then sculpt over the top of that. But this is obviously too small. So I was lucky enough, or I should say my wife was lucky enough, to come across a bunch of old Halloween decorations at one of her patients' house, and she brought them home to me. And in that, there was a ton of bones and a ton of skull. And I haven't had skulls in the shop in a long time, quite a few years. So it was really cool to get these, and obviously stuff like this. But even still, if you guys are doing a haunt, or maybe you're doing something for your short films and you need a ton of bones on the cheap, I'm going to show you guys the recipe and the way to get it done really quick with just some plastic skulls, skeletons, hands, that kind of stuff. This works for anything with plastic with a smooth inside surface. It has to be thin. It can't be like a thick, full plastic. It has to be something that you can cut and use as a mold, because that's what we're doing. Just like we did with these old ones here, just on a bigger scale and for awesome bones. And what I ended up doing was taking these off of old Halloween lights, came in a string light. These were all connected. They were, semi-transparent, so you can kind of see through them. But I took them apart so I can cast my own bones out of them. And by doing that, you can create a pretty easy bone like this. This is not even done yet, by the way. This is just a foam. As far as the materials, this is what you're gonna need. You're gonna need definitely your plastic moldable skulls or skeleton hands or whatever you're trying to mold. You're gonna need some great stuff for sure. You're gonna absolutely need a spritz bottle of water, a little bit of masking tape just to hold your pieces together as they cure so they don't balloon on you too much, and then a little bit of wire. And this is just gonna keep like a solid structure in the middle, so when you cast your foam and you take them out, they don't immediately want to snap. This is going to basically create like a little thin skeletal structure inside your bones to keep them nice and strong. And then as an optional bit of material, I'm going to be using monster mud so I can hard coat my foam over the top after that, and then we can do some detail painting. Again, it's an optional step, but I like to do it just so they last a lot longer. You can paint them, they feel more like bone. You can kind of fill in any of the divots that might be created where the air pockets were in your cast as well too, so it helps out with smoothing these out a little bit. And then once the monster mud dries, you can do fine carvings for cracks and things like that to make them look that much better. So this is going to be a really cool tutorial. So why don't you guys come in a little closer so we can get started. Okay, so I have my skull here. This is our large plastic skull. And what I'm going to do is very similarly to the way I did this here. I'm just going to cut my plastic down the seam here or along the edge. Now mind how I do that. I want a straight seam so I can easily sandwich these back together and then tape them when I'm finished. And to cut through this plastic, I'm going to be using a rotary tool just because it's a lot easier and safer. This plastic is hard and you can't use like something like a wood carving blade. It'll just kick back at you and it's super dangerous. So if you have a rotary tool, this is the best thing. Also a hot knife would work if you have a hot knife, but again, you want to be in a well ventilated area because the fumes will kill you. So I'm just going to go ahead and slowly cut this out, and I'm going to slice it right down the seam here. You can kind of see this hopefully on camera, a little bit of a seam. Down here, I'll cut it straight across just so I can easily put sandwich my pieces back together when I'm finished. So let's go ahead and cut this out. Okay, so now I went ahead and now this is all cut out and we have our two halves. And if you look inside here, you're gonna be able to see all that detail and that's gonna be perfect. Now your plastic, you want it to be thick enough to hold the shape obviously, but you want it to be bendable enough, so not too thick, so you can kind of stretch this to get your foam out a little bit. Because in sections like this, you might have a little bit of issue just because it's a steep angle in and you're gonna have to work it out. This is what we're gonna do here. Now what I'm gonna do is go ahead and put a little bit of pieces of tape here just as a placeholder. Also, I like to take a file just to the edge to get all the burrs off because you want this to be as smooth as possible so that foam doesn't grab on and cause issues when you're trying to demold it later. Okay, now for the next step, what I'm gonna do is take my spritz bottle of water and I'm gonna generously apply this water in here. I want that to be all over. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because this great stuff likes to kick with water, so it expands a lot better. You don't get any hard spots in your foam and it works out great. So now I'm just gonna shake it up and I'm gonna fill the inside of this. Now when I do it, I'm not gonna fill it to the top because this thing will expand completely over. I'm only gonna go maybe halfway through and see how that works, just as a test. If I need to add more later on, I can do that at another time, no problem. Okay, so what I'm looking to do when I spray my foam is make sure to get as much of this detail as possible. So take your time, go around the eyes, into the cheekbones, build up that foam slowly. You want to build up the foam as slow as possible, just so it really sits in there and grabs all that detail. Okay, so that's about all I want to go as far as the depth. Hopefully you guys can see that there. And we do both sides. Now what I'm going to do in here is go ahead and spritz it with another layer of water. Okay, I'm gonna sandwich these two pieces back together again. We will put some tape just over the seam lightly, not worried about getting it perfect. All right, I'm gonna let our skull sit there and expand. We'll do the same to these hands here, and then also our bones. Be back in a minute. Okay, so we're gonna do the same thing here to our long bones, our femur bones, or forearm bones, whatever you wanna call them. And what I'm gonna do for these though is because I don't wanna demold these and then have them crack, I'm gonna be running some 16 gauge wire, just one piece down the length of the bone. And I'll take my tin snips here and just cut this off. Okay, and then I wanna go ahead and spritz the inside of each bone. And again, be generous with this water. It's gonna help release the foam too when it's finished. Now we're gonna take our great stuff. And it's imperative that you only use a small amount because these expand a lot. On both sides, just a small bead, a little bit more at the end here. And then I'm gonna lay my wire in because this is gonna expand too and it'll connect to both. Then re-spritz, okay, and sandwich your pieces together here and add your tape around the side. All right, and we're gonna let that sit. It'll expand and then we'll get to demolding. Okay, so now our spray foam has been sitting for about half an hour or so and it's nice and expanded. As you can see, just from the amount I put in, look how much more it expanded. You're gonna have to play around with it to get the right amount to fill your mold specifically. Obviously, I'm gonna use less in my next go to save on foam and to create more of these guys. So let's get to the demolding, and it's pretty easy. The tape's already pulled off, so that's not a big deal. But all we're gonna do is try to work our fingers around the edge here and pull away this foam. You don't wanna immediately pull it out because you'll tear the foam on the inside and then it's ruined. So don't mess up our hard work. So I'm just trying to work the foam away from the edge. Okay, and hopefully you guys will be able to see this on camera here, but that is our skull. That's awesome. It's gonna be perfect. Again, elongated alien skull if you wanted to do that. If not, just cut back the amount of foam you use. But that's how easy it is. And look how cool this is. Now again, we did this on a smaller scale and these are the results. This is obviously a really big one. Now, when it comes to the amount you're gonna get per can, you're gonna get a good amount. And this is why I like using this too, because if you're making big props or you're making big scenes and you need to fill up the space on the cheap, still not done with this can. I could probably get another full skull out of it. So you're talking about this one here. I casted a hand here. I got 3 of these bones going, and I still have 2 more that are casting. Plus, I ended up doing half hands for these skeleton hands because this was way too thick anyway. And I'm thinking if I can cast these, I can mount them on the wall so you have the front or back side. So I got a couple of those, and like I said, I could probably get another full skull out of this can. So let's see. Large skull, 5 of the long bones like this, and 1 cast of these hands, and then 2 half casts, which is pretty much a full hand because this is so thick. So you're getting a lot of material out of one thing. You're gonna be able to fill up your stuff really well. So the next thing we're gonna do here is once I get the rest of these casted out, I'm gonna go ahead and carve them down to the shape I want, just to like fine tune these a little bit. And I'll just take a razor blade and smooth them out. Once that's done, we'll go ahead and take our monster mud. We'll paint on a layer of monster mud, let it dry, and then get to our detailed paint. Okay, so now all our foam is dry. I demolded everything. I carved everything up so it's a little bit smoother. And before we actually get to the paint, I'm gonna go ahead and put a coat of monster mud on. Now, at the end, I got 5 of these guys. I got a full hand and 2 half hands, but these are really like full hands because of the thickness of them. And then I got 2 of these skulls. I have 1 still drying over here that I'll get to in a little bit. It's a pretty good amount. So 1 $5 can of expanding foam is getting you that many bones to add to your decor. And again, if you were to buy 1 styrofoam head on Amazon or at Hobby Lobby, it's going to be over what it is for that 1 can anyway. So it's a great value. It's going to stretch your dollar, and you're going to get a bunch of cool props that you can make and throw around the yard. And if they get ruined, who cares? The pennies on the dollar. So now to hard coat our pieces, it's going to take a 2-inch chip brush and some monster mud here I have in a bowl. And I'm just going to dip this monster mud in, or this brush in the monster mud, and then brush this on. Doesn't have to be super thick either. I'm just trying to coat this foam so the foam has a little bit of protection, and it's going to give me a better, more even surface to paint. And that's what I really want. Okay, so I'll just be brushing one side at a time, and then I'll put it in front of the fan here, which I got off to the side, let that dry, and go on to the next. Okay, so now we have all our foam is dry, and what I went ahead and did was painted all these bones with a white wash. So that's basically like a watered down white paint. And I wanted it watered down because the original color here was tan anyway, or monster mud was more tan. So I just wanted to have the white color, but not it be overpowering fake, plastic Halloween bones. I want these to look more realistic. And then I started doing a little bit of testing as far as how I want these things to look to age them so they're not brand new. Now, the first thing I did was just take a little bit of brown acrylic paint, watered it down, and brushed it onto one of my bones. And then I used a rag and just kind of dabbed away the excess. And that gave me this kind of dingy bone. Now, I'll bring you guys here a little bit closer so you can see the difference from what I'm doing. But this is good if you're doing more like old bones, prehistoric bones, that kind of stuff. You can definitely make it with this brown acrylic paint watered down. But for me, I didn't want this style. I wanted more of the yellow kind of bone, the dingy yellowed bone that's maybe been sitting out for a few years, not a few decades, right? So what I came across was this style. And again, I'm going to bring you guys in a little bit closer so you can see it here in detail. But I'm just using some wood stain, and this right here is golden oak. So it's super light. It's just going to give you a little bit of a tint. If you want a darker one, you can definitely use darker stains or do multiple layers. I just did one pass really quick just to give me an idea what it's going to look like. So I'll bring you guys a little bit closer. I'll show how we do the process here, and then these bones are going to be finished. Okay, hopefully you guys can see this here. Now, this was the original bone I showed you. And like I said, this one is a little darker in color. It would work perfect like out in the desert somewhere, something like that. But I wanted mine to be a little less subtle, so I'm using the stain here. So let me show you what we're doing. So I'm just going to take my stain. Make sure you have gloves on because this stuff will definitely get everywhere and ruin your clothes. So I'm just going to dip my brush in here and just give it a generous amount, making sure to work it in all the cracks and crevices. That way this stuff holds that detail. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and take my cloth and just dab at it lightly and leave as much as I want in there. So you can kind of see the detail here, and that's what we want. So as comparison, if I can bring this a little bit closer, this is our original white bone, just a wash, and then this has the stain. And that's exactly what I'm looking for. So to get the look, I'd probably do a couple coats, but this is all we're gonna do here, and this is gonna be perfect for our bones. So we'll do one on this bone so you can see. The thing about this is just to work it into the cracks, into the crevices, so that stain stays in there while you wipe the rest away. Make sure you're in a well-ventilated area for this as well. Okay, and then you can see the difference between the non-treated area and then our stained area. But that's gonna be great for these bones, give them the perfect age, and you'll have a cheap, easy set of bones.
Well, I'd say you succeeded.
Not bad for one plastic bone.
I was only expecting a handful.
So was I.
Any idea how many that is?
Enough to fill a cemetery. Well, at least to get one started.
That's the part that worries me.
I hope this video gave you some really good ideas to make your own Halloween bones at home. It's a simple process, it's super inexpensive, and once you make the molds, you can make as many bones as you want, whenever you need.
I have a feeling these won't be staying on this table very long.
Nope.
I knew you were going to say that.
But until next time, keep building things, stay creative, and don't forget to go wild with it. I'm Gio from Carvalho Creations,
And we'll see you next time.
I'll see you next time.